Alright students, so here is the review question number 1 for your first pre-AP Algebra 2 test. And what you're being asked to do in this problem is find the perimeter of this shape. And so all that really means is add up all of these algebraic expressions. Okay? So we're going to do that, and I'll show you exactly how I want it done. Given the size of the test and the space that you have to work with, we're going to definitely need some scratch paper to actually do this correctly. Give me a second to turn off that. Alright. So just basically we're going to stack add. Alright, now remember to put like terms with like terms. So when we stack add, that means we're going to do like 3x squared plus 12x minus 1. All right, and then we're going to add to that x squared minus 7x plus 9. And then we're going to add to that 2x squared. And then we have no linear term, so we can put in here plus 0x, if that helps you, just so you know that there's nothing there. But then we've got a constant term at the end, minus 4. And this is going to help us keep everything lined up. So now we need a big line here to show the addition, and we're going to do this in columns. Okay, this is the best way I've ever come up with to kind of keep this organized. We're going to do this by column. Right? Okay, so we're going to start, it really doesn't matter where we start. We'll start on the left and we'll do these quadratic terms first. So one thing I like to do is whenever I have no coefficient, I write a 1. That way I know that there's something there I have to add. So 3x squared plus 1x squared plus 2x squared. 3 plus 1 plus 2 is 6. So the sum of the quadratic portion of this perimeter is 6x squared. Okay, so now we have 12x minus 7x. That's going to give us positive 5x plus 5x. Now we have negative 1 plus 9, which is 8, positive 8, and then positive 8 minus 4 gives us positive 4, so plus 4. So the perimeter of this triangle is 6x squared plus 5x plus 4. And I don't think they want us to evaluate the perimeter. Let me look. Yeah, it just wants us to add it up. So in this case, that would be the full answer. So we'll go ahead and put a red box around that. Okay, and then we'll come back here and do number 2. Okay guys, so I see I'm an idiot. So this is the area, right? This is number 3. So the thing I just did is number 3. And I'll try to order it that way in the video. So when I cut this video together, this is going to sound super confusing. But basically, I was supposed to find the perimeter first, but I computed the area. So now I'm going to compute the perimeter. But this part of the video will appear before the part of the video where I compute the area. So it's totally out of context. Enjoy the random out of context commentary. So now we're going to find the perimeter, okay? So this is a rectangle, which means that we have two sides, or a four-sided shape, and this side is equivalent to the other side because the lines are parallel, and this side is equivalent to this side, okay, and the lines are parallel. So this times 2 plus this times 2 will give us the perimeter of the shape. That's the basic idea. So let's do this, because here's all that junk I did to calculate the area. Okay, so forget about that, since that's not what we're looking at here. Instead, let's calculate the perimeter. And basically, this was number 3, and now we're going to do number 2, calculating the perimeter, which is going to be 2 open parentheses x squared minus 4x plus 2 plus 2 open parentheses 2x plus 3. Okay, so let's just go ahead and do it. The McRibutive property, okay, this is the distributive property. We're going to distribute this 2 all over the place. So 2 times x squared equals 2x squared. 2 times negative 4x is negative 8x. 2 times 2 is positive 4 plus 2 times 2x is 4x. And 2 times 3 is positive 6. All right, so let's highlight our common terms. Here's a common term with this term, and I spy another common term with my integer values. So I've got linear terms that can be combined here, and I've got integer values that can be combined here. So we've got this term which can't be combined with anything, and then negative 8x plus 4x is going to be minus 4x, and then 4 plus 6 is 10. So this is your perimeter right here. Perimeter, okay? There you go. That's your perimeter right there. Let's go ahead and put a box around that. And that's number 2, okay? So sorry, I did number 3 before I did number 2, but that's number 2. Now we're going to move on to number 4. All right, guys. Sorry it's taken me so long to get to this, but I'm babysitting my great niece, so you might hear the Toy Story in the background. So what we're going to do here in number 2 is find the area of this shape. Now, the way that I do it is I use a method called box. So I'll show you that method. Basically draw a shape similar to what's given to you. And then we take the ruler and we split that into 3 columns and 2 rows. And the reason we're doing that is because on the top here for the length, we've got a trinomial, 3 terms. And then on the bottom, or on the side rather, we've got a binomial. We're multiplying a trinomial by a binomial. So now I'm going to just I'm going to jot these down like this. X squared negative 4x plus 2. And then here I'm going to put 2x, and here I'm going to put plus 3. And I'm basically just going to multiply this out like it's a matrix, okay? So x squared times 2x. The thing to remember is there's a 1 in the exponent section. So if I'm doing, and here it's helpful to remember there's a 1 in the coefficient section. So if I multiply 2 times 1, the coefficient part of my product is 2. And now the bases are the same. So the product property of exponents says we add 1 plus 2 is 3. So this is going to be 2x cubed. Okay? Now I'll do the same thing on the bottom. 1 times 3 is 3. And then there's no algebraic part, right? So it's just x squared comes along for the ride. All right. So now we're on to this one, exponent of 1. So let's go ahead and multiply the coefficients. Negative 4 times positive 2 gives us negative 8. And then x to the first times x to the first gives us x to the 1 plus 1, which is x squared. Moving on, 2x times 2 is 4x. It's getting easier. Negative 4x times 3 is negative 12x. 2 times 3 is 6. So now what, right? I want you to notice a pattern. Do you notice that these terms are common? And that these terms are also common? You're always going to notice that pattern. So just keep it in mind. Let's list out the terms now in order of degree. So highest exponent first. 2x cubed. Now we combine these terms here, okay? What's negative 8x squared plus 3x squared? Well, it's going to be minus 5x squared. Now we combine these terms. Negative 12x plus 4x is negative 8x plus 6. That's the answer. Okay, so put a box around that. And move us on to number 3. Okay, looking at number 4, we see we're in a section for evaluating functions. I wanted to show this whole part here. Basically what I'm going to do is just screen clip out the number 4, okay, and just paste that sucker right here. All right, so now let's work on it. What are we being asked to do, ladies and gentlemen? Very simply, we're being asked to substitute negative 3 for n. So we're going to write out h of negative 3 equals negative 3, open parentheses, negative 3, close parentheses, squared minus 4. Okay, so that's going to equal negative 3, open parentheses. Now, squaring a negative number makes it positive, so that's going to be 9 minus 4. PEMDAS tells us to do the multiplication first, so do this first. This is negative 27 minus 4. Negative 27 minus 4 is negative 31. So h of negative 3 equals negative 31, and that's number 4. Well, let's keep rolling along. See if we can do this whole section here. Number 5, let's screen clip it so we can do it. Come on, bro. Paste. There. Okay, so again, this is an integer evaluation. It's going to be simple. F of negative 5 equals, open parentheses, negative 5, close parentheses, cubed, minus 2, open parentheses, negative 5. Okay. Well, be careful. Just remember that when you do negative 5 cubed, that's negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5. Okay, so it's 125, but you got 3 negatives. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so because there's an odd number of negatives, the answer is going to be negative. So it's negative 125. Negative 125. And then we have negative 2 times negative 5, which is positive 10. So negative 125 plus positive 10 is negative 115. So f of negative 5 equals negative 115. I don't know if I did this for the last problem, but that's your answer right there. Did I? Nope. Let's go ahead and put a box around it. All right, moving on to number 6. We're flying through these. Okay, well, here's where we're going to put in the algebraic expression. This is where things start to actually get kind of interesting. I think we did this one in class. Anyway, I'll go fast. If we did it in class, yeah, sorry. So h of negative 4x equals, okay, open parentheses, negative 4x, close parentheses squared, minus 2, open parentheses, negative 4x, close parentheses, plus 3. She's all right. She's eating. Okay, so now, here's the deal. This has an exponent of 1. This has an exponent of 1. We're going to distribute these 2's. Okay? We'll see if I have to pause this video for a second here. All right, so anyway, we're going to distribute the 2's. So basically, I've got, instead of negative 4x squared, what I've really got is I've got negative 4 squared times x squared. Okay? Minus 2, open parentheses, negative 4x, close parentheses, plus 3. Well, negative 4 squared is just 16, and x squared is x squared, so this is 16x squared, and then we distribute the negative symbol. So negative 2 times negative 4x is positive 8x plus 3. We're done. There's nothing to like do. So just put a box around it. Well, we better write, we should have written negative 4x. H of negative 4x. Okay, now we can put a box around it. Moving on. We're moving on, ladies and gentlemen, to number 7. All right. This one is actually cool because you get to do something. So here, with the thing we're substituting in is actually like a thing, 2 plus a. It's like not an equation, but it's an expression. So P of 2 plus a equals negative, open parentheses, 2 plus a, close parentheses, minus 2. And it really helps me, because I'm not smart, to put a negative 1 right there. So I know that I'm basically distributing a negative 1 right there. That helps me. So I've got P of 2 plus a equals negative 2 minus a minus 2. And I see some like terms right here. So I'm going to say P of 2 plus a equals, and I'm going to lead with my coefficient and my algebraic term. So I'm going to put negative a, and now combine these together. Okay, negative 2 and negative 2 is minus 4. You always want to lead with the letter. That's just good practice, right? Because if you were writing a linear equation, you would want to lead with the letter and then interpret that as a slope if you were doing slope-intercept. So it's just good practice, lead with the letter. It's right if you had written negative 4 minus a, that's still, quote, right. But, you know, this is even better. Okay. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if we're moving on to a new section. Yeah, we are. We're going to move on to a new section. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to stop the video here, and I'll come back in 2 seconds. Go check on the little kid in there, and we'll do 8 through 15.